For those of you that don't know, I do have a passion for orchids, and so many people have asked about how I wind up with the orchids doing as well as what they do. So I decided to do a little taping just to give a quick view. I want to show a little bit of, there's a couple of my babies are blooming. They're trying. There's one that's, she's beautiful. But anyway, the trick to it is the terracotta pots, using the mulch, and either the sphagnum moss, or I've even used reindeer moss in the past. And every week or even every 2 weeks, what I wind up doing is that I take some of them out of the window or wherever they're at in the house. I set them in the sink, and then I turn it on hot. And I do mean as hot as what it will go as far as what your setting is. And then I drench these things. This gives me a chance to see if they need to have any pruning done, if they need to have leaves taken off. Like this one's got a couple of dead leaves, so I'll trim that up. Any of the dead stalks, I can go ahead and get rid of then. And I go through and I sort of aerate them a little bit too. I move them around. Now this one needs to be repotted. So I'm probably going to do a bunch of repotting come this spring. And I let the hot water just completely drench them. And I also make a point of, because the terracotta with the plants, they do have a tendency to build up some stuff, minerals and calcium deposits build up. So that's why I make a point of spraying the bottoms of the pots, wiping them down, and making sure that all that is taken care of, that they are completely drenched down. And then what I do is I let those set, and as you see, they're draining. So I let them completely drain, and then once the pots have completely drained, I'll show you the next step in just a moment. And as I said, once they've drained, I start putting them on a towel, usually on top of my freezer. Yeah, that's how I am. To sit out for a while. I usually let them set, once I get all the plants done, I usually set them out for about an hour, 2 hours before I put them back to wherever I had them placed at. And this just gives them time to get, you know, a little bit drier so that you don't have water sitting in their holder, because I do have holders that they sit in, but you don't want water sitting in that, because that just usually builds up as far as fungus. It can lead to some of the different types of animals and insects that like to live there, and I don't like that. So I usually let them dry on the towel for a while before I put them back up. So basically, you know, he's done dripping, so he goes over here and sits with everybody else, and then I get another sink full done, and I have them all sitting out, and then in about an hour I'll put them back up. And here I am watering more of them. Sometimes, because they're so big, I do have a tendency to have to do this in smaller batches. Sometimes I can get the smaller pots, I can get maybe 5, even 6 of the smaller pots into the sink at a time. But the bigger ones, sometimes I can only get 4, sometimes 3, sometimes only have the 2 bigger ones. But then again, do the exact same thing. I am drenching them. I drench the leaves, everything. Make sure that you get the outside of the pots to get off all that, those deposits, the mineral deposits. Get that out of the way. And I mean, when I say soak, I mean soak. Whoop, I'm getting my lens all foggy. Sorry, people. And like I said, the sphagnum moss works the best. But you can use, as far as what they call deer moss, I don't really like it as much, but that does work. But the real trick, and I cannot stress this enough, is the terracotta pots themselves. When you buy an orchid and it comes in that wonderful container, it looks so pretty, it does not let the water evaporate from the plant well enough. So you wind up killing the plant. And those ice cube plants, I have never heard of anybody, any of my friends, any of my acquaintances ever having any luck with that whatsoever. Because usually they're still in that beautiful little container. And that's what leads to them having too much water. It's the evaporation that really seems to help. And I mean, so far, some of these plants I've had are 20 years old and I've kept them. There's my baby. She's just finally decided to bloom this morning. So, now you can buy orchid food, and I will show you something, and I'm a little embarrassed to show you. This is orchid food. Okay, I have had this container for probably 25 years now. I think I've only used it once, maybe twice. Usually by the time I think about doing it, I've already finished with taking care of my orchids. So I don't normally use the plant food for them. I might have better results if I do, but like I said, this container is at least 25 years old, so it's still sitting here. And, I'm sorry, yeah, my bad. Anyway, so you just soak them and soak them and soak them and soak them. And like I said, get in there and sort of move it around a little bit, aerate it, see if you need to. You know, take off any of the dead parts, like that one. I'm probably going to go ahead and trim that off, because that's already dead. And this one needs a little more TLC, so I'm probably going to put him towards the front of the window, just so I can keep a better eye on him. He's been someplace else, so we will give him a little bit more TLC than what he's been getting. And as you see with this leaf, I'm probably going to take that one off soon, simply because it is, sorry, as I said, I do use hot water. That one's showing a little bit of yellow, so it probably will die shortly. And I trim off all the dead leaves, all the dead stalks. And that is about it. And I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. Not that it really was. It's just some of the tricks that I've learned over the years that might encourage people to start using, taking some time, buy an orchid. They're not hard. I promise you. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Take care. Bye.